drop because the 4600 people just don't miss.
So are you looking at me to focus more so on your specific comms or just the team comms overall?
Mostly mine, but if you can
Okay.
interject with like major things, like big picture things,
Okay.
that would help.
Do you guys have your comm roles set up yet for the team?
Yes and no. Like Clones is actually not in this. Little Blocker is the main tank because he was late, but for the most part, like pathing and stuff is going to be called by him. I'm trying to do like fight planning, like we use these two ults, we use this ult kind of thing.
Okay.
And unfortunately Ren left the team, so Gorba Cheese is our main support.
Okay.
He needs to work on calling like rotations and stuff, and we need someone to call like the end of the fight. But we were like 3 steps forward, took 1 step back, but for the most part,
Hey, you're still moving forward.
it's still coming along.
Okay, right on. Let's go and.
All right, what do we want to run?
Let's do like
this is a quick thing. I know we're only 20 seconds in, but somebody said it like, all right, what do we want to run here? Normally you should kind of already have a plan going into it.
Right.
Or if you don't have a plan, you know how to play certain comps. So somebody might say, all right, what do we want to run? And then you might just say, all right, let's just go 6-man and we play it like this. Or okay, let's go, Hurricane and we'll run it like that. Or okay, let's do like a hard brawl and go White Room, something like that. So what I'm hoping is, I haven't heard the response yet, but I'm hoping it'll be something as simple as that instead of somebody listing out a bunch of heroes.
I think so. The main tank we have is a temporary sub. We literally got him that day in like 10 minutes before. So there's going to be a little bit of explanation, but everyone else on the team knows what's going on.
Okay.
We're good at dive. We can either run
counter.
Like we can run the rush down stuff that we that was in OWL.
Do you guys want me to Winston or Ball or whatever?
Go Winston.
Okay, I like that. So yeah, you guys are calling a comp as opposed to like a bunch of heroes, and then somebody might ask like, okay, do you want this or this, and then okay, so
Winston
that's good. I'm glad to hear it.
And
or you have more guy.
Sombra.
Oh.
Oh, okay, it's the Reaper song.
Is Jorge here?
I play either one.
Wait,
so
no,
you whichever one you would pick.
He'd be right back. Pause.
Hey, yo, the pizza.
I suck at both.
You're the pizza hero.
Okay.
What am I playing? What am I playing?
I gotta turn this down just because I also want to be able to hear you in Discord over it, and it's always trippy when I'm like trying to listen to comms because then I'm like, all right, who's talking to me in Discord and what's in the recording? So if I ever ignore you, it's not on purpose.
Yeah, we don't know either.
We're gonna go bridge. We're gonna look for a hack on a D.Va and then first down the main tank with the Reaper.
Okay, good. So you're coming in with a plan.
Kill their main tank. There went D.Va, Lucio. There's someone on the point. Reaper on point.
What's that?
Yo, Lucio on the right side? Yeah, I'm jiggling this.
D below.
Yeah, I'm jumping up.
Both tanks out. No fade on Moira.
Reaper's one.
On the bridge.
We're dead. Lucio one.
Yo, baby D.Va's almost
on bridge.
Yeah.
Got Sombra.
This is a minor thing. So far, you guys' target calling it's good. And I'm noticing you guys are doing this. It's just a little inconsistent. It's also good to call locations because you guys are calling like, Reaper 1 on bridge, and then that way people know where he's at, and then he goes down. And then a second later, I hear a call for like Lucio 1, and I'm from your perspective, you can't see where the Lucio is,
right?
And so you don't know where to be aiming, but you're like, well, there's somebody in front of me, so I'll go after them. Or like right there, you hear, like Moira on point. So like having those location calls are also really good.
Nice job. All right, we're gonna have EMP blast for next time.
Okay, yeah.
Do you remember when we were doing like Lijiang and we were like sped onto an Ana? Yeah. He was like calling Ana, and like as Zarya, and he's playing Ryan. I just followed him, right? But I didn't see the Ana, didn't know where she was.
Yeah, exactly. And like, and sometimes, you know, like if you don't have a location, then you know what you did is the best you can do is follow them and hope that you can find her.
Yeah.
But having those locations are very useful.
Hey, they're getting close to their own EMP.
Yeah.
Yeah. So okay, this right here, that's good. You guys are calling ults, and you're saying, okay, yeah, you know, she farmed, she's close to EMP, you know, so play for EMP, things like that. So those are all good comms.
All right, they're coming bridge.
We don't even really need a PK.
Coming bridge, you're calling the rotation. That's good.
Force them to use util into us.
Oh, nice. Lucio. I'm on Lucio punching. Lucio 1.
Okay,
Good
Nice,
job.
nice.
They can't go in. Like,
Something you also could have done there is because Lucio's kind of an important pick here because he was just so far out. You could always like booster U-turn into him. This is just total side thing, not even with comms. Because there's a good to fair chance you might actually just knock him off the map, or
especially when
if you
he's
come at.
hacked.
Yeah, exactly. Especially when he's hacked, and so like they back up just a little bit. This is really good, and you're playing good natural cover.
both tanks
And I went back a little far. I'm gonna hop ahead a little bit.
Cables.
Yeah, no, your guys' comms are much better, and it's really cool to see it.
Yeah, honestly, Reich. All right, they're coming bridge.
What's that?
Reich has done a lot for us. He's the new hit scan. He's playing Reaper right now.
Okay.
Yeah,
I don't know whose voice, because I know some of your guys' voices, but some of them I'm like, I don't know who these are, but
we don't even really need a PK here. Force them to use util into us.
yeah. And that was also a good use of boosters, but feel free to follow through and then just turn back around with it.
Okay.
Lucio. I'm
Yeah, and then having those calls again. And now, again, you know, this is just when, like, having that location would be good. But it's a good DM, and it's a good call on the Lucio. You know, he's coming in.
on Lucio.
And right here is when your boosters are coming back up. You could look to booster, like, left side of rocks, because it might knock him off, or it'll knock him back into your team.
I'm on Lucio punching.
Lucio
Lucio 1.
But you guys get it, so it works out.
They can't go in. They can't go in. We're chilling.
We can take space here with Cole. Someone's behind the.
No. Back up. I think we're chilling.
We're getting close to a beat.
Yeah, they.
And that's another good call. Who is it that's talking? Who is like no, back up.
That was Reich.
Right? Okay. These are some really good comms, and these would be comms that would normally be coming out of the tank, right? And so somebody said, you know, like we can look to take space. I don't know who said that, but someone was like, yeah, we can look to take space with Cole. Like having suggestions like that are definitely good. I'm never going to discourage that, but then you always want to have the one voice that's going to like make the final call. Like anything else before that, it's kind of like it's info, it's suggestions, stuff like that. But then there's going to be the main person calling it. Normally, like I said, it's coming out of the main tank because they're going to be the ones who's directing the flow of the fight.
Got it.
But I also know that you guys have like this ringer main tanking. But it's like listening to Reich's comms. He has very good comms. But he comes like a main tank. So I guess you guys can use that kind of almost like a template. Because if we back up right here,
we can take
punching.
like,
Lucio 1.
yeah, so you guys win this fight, they back up.
They can't go in. We're chilling.
And yeah, so when he's saying like they can't push on us, you know, we can hold back here, and somebody says like, oh, we might be able to push, but this is a dangerous spot right here. Is that Moirez, she's trying to make the call, but people are following what would be the main tank's comms of kind of sitting, and now you kind of have to go in, and your team is a little confused, and that's when you hear again the call like, no, back out.
Cole. Someone's behind the.
No, back up.
See right there.
We're getting close to a beat.
And so like that, like I said, that would normally come out of the main tank. And honestly, I thought it was your main tank just because of how it's been going.
Just getting farm off
Yeah, I
us.
bubble again. We
don't need to pay
yeah.
PK here.
I'm pretty sure
I have DMP here.
They're looking to go right. They're going right.
He wants to go outside.
Can we get a hack on the Diva?
So somebody said that they were going right or white. I couldn't really hear.
I think it's
I have
right, but
I have DMP here.
Oh, okay.
They're looking to go right. They're going right.
Oh yeah. That's you. Yeah, you're calling around. I was like, oh no. Yeah, white room. But yeah.
He wants to go outside.
Can we get a hack on the Diva?
No, she's too far.
Alright.
So something here after you have you talked about the rotation. You know, you called, all right, they're going white. This is when you guys want to start, and you said that you're looking to call out like ults and whatnot, right?
Yeah.
So once the rotation has been identified, that's when you should be looking to make your fight plan, your ult plan, you know,
Yeah.
because now you know where they're coming from. What's that?
I say it right here. Let's
Okay.
just EMP Blossom in this
Okay, perfect. I paused it just a second before. But if you can, try to do it a little bit sooner. The second you identify the rotation, so right right here, this is when you should be looking to do it. You called the rotation, and now you should be like holding tab to look at what you guys have. So you go, okay, we have Blossom, we have EMP, we almost have Bomb, we almost have Beat, things like that. So you call the rotation, you look at what ults you have, and then you make your plan off of that. So that way your team has time to set up for the ults. Because you end up calling it here, but now this fight, this is the pre-fight. This is when you guys would be looking to be positioning for those ults. But now you're actually trying to make the plan, and because of that, they end up getting theirs off first. Because, like I said, this is the pre-fight, this is when they're positioning for it. And so the calls are good, it just needs to be a little bit sooner. So that way you guys are able to basically ult first,
Yeah.
But the beat was good on that, so that was good.
I'm dead.
Can we hack? Can we hack?
Reaper's behind us.
Oh, it's just bigger.
Reaper here.
And that right there, so that was right calling. Can we hack Diva? Right, that was him calling it.
Yeah, he was calling for the hack. Yeah.
Okay, that's good. Because again, normally when you go to do like a plan like this, right? You Trouble, you would be the one who's actually making the plan, and then after that, anybody whose ults are being used or whose abilities are being used, it's up to them to make those calls. So you call, okay, let's use Blossom here, and then Reich would be calling, all right, like can we hack Diva, things like that. Because you've made the plan, so now you let them deal with it. Unless, of course, you're using your own ult. If you call, all right, let's EMP bomb. I want to bomb and choke. Or you might say, all right, let's EMP bomb. Where do you want to EMP so I can set up bomb? Something like that. So, whoever's using their ults, let them dictate how they want it, because they're going to be the ones who, in the end, have to execute it, and it's best to let them deal with that. But it is your job to basically say, let's use this, let's save this, and I would like to see, I don't know if it's going to happen, but I want to see if you're going to know when to not use ults, because that might be when you say, all right, like no more ults, or all right, no ults here, let's drive by, something like that. I don't know if this is going to happen, but
Alright, they're gonna have a free beat for this fight.
that is a harder thing.
That's fine.
They're gonna have beat coalescence bomb, monkey.
They use Cole.
They use Cole? Okay.
I'm sorry, say that one more time.
It came up in the scrim, but it wasn't often. Like there was certain times when I was like, I think Hollywood specifically, for some reason we would have like EMP Blossom, and I would call to save those and say use Grav instead, which was a bad call, but it was something that I would call, and vice versa. If we had like I think on Oasis we had Nano, Shatter, and EMP, and Clones was calling for EMP Shatter, and I was like, if we do that, then we won't have any ults for last fight, so we should save one. Let's try just Nano and Shatter. But we ended up using EMP Shatter because that's what he wanted. But
I see. Honestly, I would chalk that down to they need to trust your call, even if it's not the right call, because your calls will get better with time. Because if you make a call and it works out, then in your own bank, in your own head, as you go, oh, that worked out, so I'm going to try that again. And if you try another call and you say, all right, let's save ults for last fight, you just use Shatter, just use Nano Shatter, something like that, and then you guys lose the fight, then you go, well, maybe we should have done more, but you can make that adjustment. And so I think at that point, that's when you got to kind of, remind your team, like, hey, listen for the ult plan, execute it, something like that. Because that is an important thing of, your calls aren't going to get better if your team doesn't follow them. So it's up to them to trust you. Even if they think that they need more, because then they might, what we typically do in my scrims is we might ask for more, right? Or we might suggest it. And actually I will take a quick pause from this just to show you actually a very good relevant example of that. So if I minimize this and I pull this one up, so I know that I think I was talking to you about like cutting the very end of the video because I left it recording on accident. So I ended up I was trying to do it in the video editor and it didn't want to do it. And so I fucking left it in, but it kind of gives an idea of like our comms.
Please.
But
Monkey, they use balls. They're gonna have trance.
So here we're tracking their ults.
Oh, is that just fucking?
I stole your kill, your man.
Wait, it is still damn it.
I have rally here.
And here we're talking about what ults we have.
Bottom left, main.
He's out main. They're ball. Can we just spam the ball?
Grant's mine.
We have
Yeah,
5
I'm
ults. What are we gonna do next fight? Just
Okay, I'm gonna
We have
slam mines
visor.
main. Or they're going when they go jump pad. I'm gonna slam mines
rolling
main and
when they
we'll go
engage.
visor.
See right there. So there's the plan. And that's coming out of one of our tank players. I forget who.
Okay.
Oh, it's from our ball right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll just do that. Visor mine or
Grant's the same.
rally mines.
And so then we changed the plan off of visor to rally mines.
Slamming 3, 2, 1.
And here you see the execution of it. So there's the mines, there's the rally.
They're chancing.
We called the trans, and then here, because I know we were talking about using visor, and I want to use it so I can start building another one. So here's when I make the call.
I advise after trans.
They're chancing high ground. They're chancing high ground.
And so I made the call, and he didn't say no, so I went for it. But if I had made the call, I was like, all right, I'm visoring after trans, and he was like, no, save. That would be the call, and that's when I wouldn't use it.
I'm gonna slam again in 2, 3, 2, 10. Wow. Okay. I'm gonna slam point.
But like that would be like an example of, like we made the plan, we talked about the ults, we changed it, but then we execute it, and then people can suggest using other ults, and that's when you need to be listening to, like, oh, do we need EMP, do we need visor, or oh, I'm gonna EMP after this, or I'm gonna visor after this, or I'm gonna rally here, things like that, and that's when you have to be listening to those calls and say yes or no. And it's also up to the player to where if they don't hear anything from you, then they're gonna leave it to their best judgment type of thing.
Okay.
But yeah, so listen to those comms, because some general ones that you should be listening to, for you as the off-tank player, as the diva player, you should be listening for rotations, for peels. If you ever hear like blink on me or blink in the back line, that's a call to arms for you. So those are things from your role, and then there's the comms roles where after you hear what ults they have or what ults they've used, that's when you should be hitting tab to see what you have, and that way you can start making your plan. Even if you just start making it in your head, right? Because kind of like what the balls you heard is he was like, all right, we're gonna slam visor, and then we called like, oh, they're going left, and then that's when he changed it to like slam rally, because of that rotation. So he had already said the plan, but then he just changed it because of the rotation. But you can make it in your head. And you might say, okay, let's look for EMP bomb, and then they go white room, and then you might say, all right, let's go for EMP blossom, right? Things like that. But you've already been kind of thinking about, okay, well, these are what we have, and if they go here, I can do this. If they go here, we can do this. So that way you wait for that rotation. You see, oh, they're rotating white. We EMP bomb or EMP blossom, in white room. Once they file in, let's look for that. And that way, if you see that EMP blossom go off and it only gets like 2 kills, and now they're trading ults, right? Say they're using beat, and then you hear, do we need primal, or I can primal, after beat or something like that. You can say yes or no if you think you need it.
Okay.
I can still have it.
Sombra's going.
I think
They're coming bridge. Give me your primal. 3, 2.
Oh, Reaper's up,
Reaper TP.
Or like that right there. I don't know if that was you calling a countdown on the primal, or if that was okay. So like calling the primal is good, but that's when it kind of comes down to whoever's using the ult, let them judge it.
I was more calling the timing of it for when like he could get the boop, instead of having.
Oh, I see.
Like peek for it.
I see. Okay. You can if that's what you're looking for. If you're looking for the environmentals, say you can make a call of like, all right, let's look to primal on bridge, and then you can follow that by saying like, oh, I'll call, I'll let you know when they're on bridge. I'll call when on bridge, things like that.
Okay.
So that way you don't have to give a countdown, because again, countdowns are always like really countdowns are surprisingly hard to pull off in this game, because there's so many dynamic things. And if you go like 3, 2, no, like something like that, then they get like thrown off, and or like 3, 2, oh wait, it's
Yeah, Reaper's hacked. Big hack. Dead.
I'm
Running
hacked.
Running monkey.
You
Monkey
guys
dead.
want that?
Point.
We can take a little spacer. We can get Diva. Leave her out of Mac. Now.
yeah. And see, all of those calls, those are really good. Like we can get Diva here, push on Diva. Again, these are calls that would normally be coming from your main tank, just because your main tank is normally the one leading that charge. But that you can hear, that's kind of where that blend of target calling and shot calling kind of blend. because that's when you'll hear the like you hear push on diva. So that was like the shot call, and then the target calling was to like stay on the diva, right? Like I push diva here, and because like if you guys had a Zen, for example, right? And for some reason the Zen was doing the target calling because of discords, the monkey might say, all right, we can push here, and then Zen would follow by saying diva discorded on diva, right? So just like as an example. But normally with the higher teams, we blend shot calling and target calling together, even though technically they're two separate roles, they flow really naturally together.
Yeah.
And so even if like in the case of that I just gave, if we had a Zen might say diva discorded, but then you might hear the monkey say, all right, we're on diva, and then that's when everybody goes on it. Or you might hear diva discorded, and then we go, and then you might hear a call, oh no, we're on monkey here, go monkey, and then that's when you would hear monkey discorded. So like that's just like one of the things.
All right, last fight. We have
Play it, Lucio. Play window. They're jumping through.
Reaper, what?
Yo, Reaper TP'd on you.
I should have done that.
Reaper no left him. What the fuck?
Good hack.
Oh, nice.
Big hack. Yo, Lucio next.
bomb on point.
Fuck, I'm retarded. Alright.
He died.
Winston's one.
That poor diva.
Oh,
Yeah, I'm
Good
gonna do
DM.
maybe diva. Nice, good job.
Nice shot.
Nice.
That poor
Easy
diva.
first
Hold on
down.
a second.
Remake DMEC, life of a diva player,
Good shit.
and then the fall into the pit at the end.
you want?
Yeah.
Actually.
Wait, Thomas, didn't you play
Oops,
against
didn't pause that.
Pittsburgh at one point? The Greensburg team? Probably Harrisburg.
I think it was
Oh,
Harris.
Pittsburgh.
Yes, but we gotta be ready.
Run sim.
Oh wait, you want one? I can run sim here.
Yeah, let's go sim Doomfist.
Hell yeah.
Hey there.
Same healers?
Yes, definitely.
Hello there.
Yeah.
We're gonna immediately switch to a Farm Mercy though, like they did last
Yeah,
time.
if they do, we'll swap the Lucio to a Mercy.
Well, if we TP on point, it's not a big deal.
Okay, so here I like what you guys are doing is you guys have your plan. You're talking about, oh, if they do this, we can make these swaps. So you're talking about potential like comp swaps. So I like that. Is you guys picked out a comp. You talked about how you're gonna play. You said, oh, if they do this, then we can do this. Right. So I like all this planning.
Right.
I didn't hear what you said.
By the way, their Lucio is out of position a lot.
We'll swap our Lucio
Yeah.
to a Mercy, and then we'll get a hit scan.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Hello.
All right, ready?
Now something that you guys didn't talk about. So you say, if they have this pharmacy, we can make these swaps. But if they don't roll out on the pharmacy, we take point first. Then they come back with the pharmacy. Then we're making those swaps, right? So like things like that. But what are you gonna do while you have point, while you're on point, and then they come out on the pharmacy, right?
I see.
So those are things that you also need to talk about, because there are times, even if they have like a hero or two that would normally counter you, you still have to have a plan to try and maintain point control for as long as possible, right? Just because naturally, like that's the nature of this game, right? If it was like an escort, that would be a different thing, right? Because that's when like the whole map geometry is going to change. But something like this, you want to hold point for as long as possible. So you want to talk about how are we going to play if they have pharmacy, right? And one of the big things is, one of the most common things with pharmacy is that means they've got 2 in the sky, they've got 4 on the ground. So that's when you just play super aggro on the 4, because otherwise the pharmacy is going to spam you out, right? It's just going to wrap around you. It's just going to just tear out your backline. So the second she wraps around, we push forward. That would be like the type of call, right?
Okay.
So I watch for pharmacy. If they have it, wait for her to rotate, then we speed on to main, for an example.
Yes.
And that would be like the type of comment. That's something that's good to communicate, so that way your team knows the change of plans immediately. Because if you state it before, because right now things are very low pressure, low speed, right? You're free to talk and think, and then once the game starts, that's a whole different thing, because you're taking care of so many different like aspects. And so to make the call now, it puts it in people's mind, if they have pharmacy, something push onto main, right?
Okay. And
then that way later on, if you see that pharmacy come out, you say because again, you're watching for those rotations, so you might say, pharmacy right side, go main, and that way your team already, that's when it almost like it's like a reminder, right? It's like an alarm that goes off, like, oh yeah, that's right, that's what we have to do.
Let's amp speed out too.
Yeah.
And yeah, with this
Sorry,
is
that
just a
was
total
quick.
side thing, not a comp thing. But yeah, you speed out, then TP into window.
Alright, just keep an eye on where I am.
It's
Yeah.
filled with fucking testosterone.
Hello there. Greetings.
Wait, the Symmetra buff. I cannot speak. The Symmetra buff went through?
What's
Yeah.
your buff?
Oh, she has
25 shield.
25. That's crazy.
25
Wow.
HP.
That felt
Yeah, same
crazy
thing as
on
Kree.
Widow.
Kree has
And,
225.
Kree.
Yeah.
It's so weird.
Alright. Go.
They
Oh, you did the
did
same thing?
Oh, just massive. Run.
Just again, as a side thing, just because since I'm watching it from your perspective, I'm also just paying attention to your play just naturally.
Yeah.
The second you come through, you basically just kind of DM as you fall, because that's when a lot of shit can go down.
Okay.
Right.
You did the same thing?
And there May fucked up. This was a super common comp, right? Having like a May sim for a while. Me as a May player, something I would almost always do is immediately as that TP came through, I would throw a wall up in the window, which broke the teleporter, and so it would actually split the team. So half the team wouldn't have gone through, or some parts of the team might go to the outside of the window, and so now they have to walk back in.
Right.
And things like that, and so it makes it for really easy picks. Especially if you have a Doom, because Doom can actually straight up charge up a fist, go through the teleport, and punch straight across and get a potential pick. Or like Ryan's will come through and fire strike, or things like that. And so just throwing a DM just straight up, because if your Doom punches straight across, then he's gonna need that DM to keep him up from any other potential like incoming damage. And also it's a really easy way of DMing your entire team as well as the enemy's entire team, because you're standing in front of them or with them, so nothing can go to your team and nothing's coming out from the enemy. And it's just while you're falling, you'll use about half your DM, and that way you can do that followed up with like micro missiles as everybody's falling onto point. And then at that point your monkey is free to place his bubble down while your DM kind of comes back up.
Widow. Okay. And,
but it helps like divvy up those resources, and it's just super powerful to be able to DM everybody in the entire game.
Yeah.
Like right here.
Oh, you did the same thing?
DM and micro missiles. You have the micro missiles, just not the DM.
Sorry, you self bubble?
Maze one.
No. Something that is going to be very important for you. If you're calling like comp swaps and you're making like the plans, this is going to be very important for you, and it's going to be very important for clones. I know that he's obviously not playing in here, but you guys need to understand. One of the biggest things is the pacing that you have to create for your team to go against the opposing team. This comes both from your guys' comms roles as well as just your actual role, because Monkey Diva cannot brawl against a Rein Zarya.
Right.
So the second you see that Rein shield, you guys need to call, like back up, play courtyard, play slow, play for space, things like that. Play for picks even, right? Because you have a Doomfist, so play for picks. You're going to lose point control here. So at this point, you need to back out and play for picks and go off of that, or you just call, fight loss, swap comp to this, right?
At the start, our Doom picked their Lucio, so I thought it was worthwhile to stay. Like, you can see that I back up to, like, basically this current position, and then our monkey bubbles, and I walk into the bubble.
Yeah.
So they did say it was worth staying there, because he gets a pick right here.
Yeah. So that Doom pick is really important, and actually, here's the thing: it's most important because I don't know why the quality's so low right now. But it's most important because it's also the Lucio.
Right.
And we have a Lucio. So if we were to all, like, this is a big pick, but we need to stabilize. Because I can't see all of you guys' health, but I see our Doom is already low health, and he just used his punch. So he's down that main cooldown, right?
Yeah.
You're down your micro missiles. Our monkey is about to drop and place bubble, right? So this is when you guys got the pick and you got the Lucio, so that means they can't chase you. And you still have, 19 seconds before the point. So you have plenty of time to stabilize. And now Doom is using his slam, and he's going to follow that with uppercut. But here you guys should be making a call to stabilize, because you can't brawl them. You got a pick, and you got the Lucio, which is huge, because you can walk away, and they can't follow you. And if they try to follow you, then that's when, like we talked about before, with brawl, all those kills happen in rotation, right? And so, like, if they're chasing you, that's when you guys can turn, because if their Rein chases you or tries to charge after you, you as a diva and your monkey and your Doom can just go around him and then go to the backline. Now their tanks aren't in position. You see.
Right.
So like right here, especially like against the main stuff, you guys should be looking to stabilize. Also, probably don't look for the Rhine because Monkey Diva is a lower damage comp to the tank line. So instead, looking for squishies is much better. But that's a
May here. I think it's
you're on May, but the calls. If you listen to the comms,
yeah, you're on May. Sorry.
see.
Yeah.
I agree with your target focus here, or your personal target focus on the May. Also, another thing, you can use boosters to knock her out of bubble so she can't freeze you.
Yeah.
Oh god, I went back too far.
Testosterone.
And I know the call is coming from your Doom, but that's why it's important for it to come from the main tank. Because also on top of that,
from the sim.
Wait, what's that?
The call on Ryan was coming from the sim. I think it was because
Okay.
it was like full beam probably.
Oh, I see. Even then, full beam is gonna melt a May.
Right.
And simply like Sim and Doom are like Sim is obviously a spam hero and Doom is obviously a finisher, right? Because that's something that we've talked about before. It's the different DPS types.
Yeah.
But even Sim being like Doom is a finisher, but he can finish off tanks, but tanks need to be low. Sim is a spam hero, but she feeds off of barriers, so she can do damage elsewhere because beams do less damage to armor. I don't know if you remember that.
Yeah.
And so Ryan is all armor, right? He's got like 25% of Ryan's health is armor. It's a lot like Diva's is.
That's crazy.
So the main person to do damage to a tank isn't going to be your Sim because the armor. It's not going to be your Doom because he wants to be going for the backline. It's not going to be from the Monkey, and it's gonna like you guys don't have anything to really get through his armor. Obviously, if you put enough bodies on it, then yeah, he'll die. But you need to put a lot of bodies on it. But in your guys' comp, you need to be able to get kills quickly. And so one of the things that can help is if you ignore the tank line as much as you can and destroy everything supporting their tank line.
I see.
And so if you do that, like having them A, but also this also comes down to a problem of you and your Monkey ignore the target call too, right? Because like we just said, if we put enough bodies on it,
just massive.
right? So the DM and all this is fine, but here you're worried about peeling for your Monkey, which is good. It makes sense. And right here, once your Monkey gets frozen, he's in bubble. Just look the booster. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, do that famous Diva U-turn.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, you should look for that. But on top of that, try to position yourself to be able to peel as well as try to focus the target. The target is the Rhine. He's behind you. It's a really hard target to follow. So it should be a different target call. But again, this should be coming from your tank for that reason because he's going to be in the front. And on top of that, you guys just as a team need to try to focus those targets because your Monkey, even though he's frozen right now, he wasn't on the Rhine. You're trying to DM for him, but you're not be able to go for the Rhine. That means the Rhine in general isn't a great call because you guys aren't in a position to follow. You're not in you don't have a comp that can follow up. Even if you were in a good position, it's a lot of resources. So that's two issues. One of you're not following the call, and two of it's not the best call. But like we talked about before, I would rather have people fail because they all followed a call, because then that target caller is going to get better. Because if he's calling the Rhine, and then everybody dies and the Rhine is alive, maybe it's not good to focus the Rhine. Right, so the target caller needs to learn that, but he's not going to if his team doesn't follow the call.
Right, that makes sense. Sorry, you self bubble.
Maze one.
Also, always try and do that Diva U-turn as often as possible because it helps create space.
Okay.
And so like if you're trying to booster out like this, you can still go forward just for a second. Even if you don't hit them, don't overcommit. Don't be like, I have to hit them, but you can still booster forward for a second and then U-turn it, because that way if they're trying to follow, they'll get knocked away, and if they're not trying to follow, you go like, I don't know, one Diva length less, but you're still getting to where you need to go. If you need to use all of your boosters to get somewhere, you probably should have been a little closer to it.
I think one of my issues about Diva, and it's something that I've been working on, is that like because of her high mobility, like I find that my positioning isn't that great because it's easy to just get out of poor positions.
Yeah.
So, my cooldown usage on that is kind of reflective of my positioning.
I see.
something I'm working on, but like, I
Yeah.
don't know. Like when I go for boops, they're like with intent, and like I
Mhm.
guess I could try to focus on Maze more. But like honestly, there I saw like May, Sim, Zarya, and I was like, I don't want to be in this
Yeah.
position.
No, absolutely. Also, as a general thing, you don't really want to be level ground with the Zarya as often as
Right.
possible. Do you know what you could do to help out here?
I mean, I could play on the TP, or like there's also the windows on the sides. I can
Mhm.
just straight
Yeah.
fly up and fall. But
Exactly. Yeah. So here, what I probably would have done
Maze
is right here.
Maze 1.
Instead of boosting out, I would have gone through her. Right. Even though she ice blocked, I would have gone forward here because she hasn't iced yet. Right. So forward, and you're shooting at the same time, and then go straight up and go into that window.
Maze 1.
Because then you can still choose to engage in the fight and do some poke damage, and you're building your ult, and you're also relatively safe. Or you could just walk away, and it also gives you some options because up in those windows you can also hop over these like side walls and go over to like the megas. Even if you were like in that far window, right? Because you could hop over, pick up the mega, then use your boosters to fly up and out again.
Maze 1.
And so it kind of puts you in a better spot.
yeah, let's get out. Let's get out. Let's get
Yeah,
out. Let's get
on the
out.
right side. I'm getting out.
Yeah, just like that. That's good.
It's probably better to run brawl with.
Yeah. Let's swap. Let's swap.
There we go. Okay, so good. You guys called the you called the swap here, so that's good.
You know, like Reaper?
Yeah, my run isn't too good.
Well,
You know, like Reaper, Sombra, what?
yeah.
we'll just try it.
Unless we want to do something.
However, Sombra does struggle against a Mei. Honestly, I would probably run like a Mei Doom here, and I think you guys would be fine. Just because Sombra has too hard of a time getting value on Mei, because Mei is another beam, and beams are like Sombra's weakest, like weakest point, because like a D.Va, even though she doesn't have an actual beam, D.Va can move her mouse around and decloak or stop a hack from Sombra. Same thing with Zarya. Same thing with like Sim, same thing with Moira, same thing with Mei, right? Mei can just wiggle her mouse around and cancel a hack. She also has a wall to cancel like LOS from the Sombra. She also has her ice block. So like Sombra against Mei, it's a fucking shitty time, because Sombra, if she's too far, then she doesn't have the damage, and Mei has her right clicks. If she's too close, then Mei can freeze her. If she tries to off angle, then Mei can wall her, and if she gets behind the Mei and waits the wall, then Mei's just gonna ice block. It feels terrible to play Sombra into Mei, and on top of that, like you might be able to EMP, but if Mei sees it, she ice blocks to not get EMP'd and throws Blizzard down. Now there's no follow up for that EMP because they can't push into Blizzard.
I think Doom's gonna be pretty okay here.
So personally, and again, this
One
isn't
thing
really a
on the
common
left.
thing, but I probably would have just went
Careful.
with like a Mei Doom.
Careful about Lucio.
They scouted us.
And these are also good calls. You guys call, you go on coast. You call watch for Lucio boops.
I'll bubble you in 3, 2.
Oh.
Lucy's looking for it.
Oh no.
You're walled. You're walled. They're right back. He has shatter. He has
man.
shatter.
So you're calling, or he has shatter, so that's a good call. So you guys are gonna be playing
There's
for that now.
something right above the
We
door.
wipe. We wipe on that. We wipe on that.
And that right there, that's one of the calls that you guys need to have every fight. Is like fight over. He called it like we wipe, right? And it's whatever you guys want to call, but you need to know when that fight is over.
We wipe.
Because once that call comes out, that's when you guys are doing ult tracking for their team, and you already did that a little bit. You helped with that. You called, Ryan has shatter. May's gonna have Blizzard here. They're probably gonna be close to wall. Lucio died at the start of the first fight, so he's not gonna have beat yet. Moira's gonna have Cole. Their Zarya's probably gonna be close to grab, right? Or she's gonna have it, right? So things like that. So that's why, like, you go, we wipe. What ults do they have? What are we gonna use? Now we don't have any ults, so our option is okay. We can dry fight, or we can play slow and look for whatever, right? Now nobody's really close since you guys just did a comp swap, so I would say take a quick fight because they're at about 40,
We got beat.
right? So we take a quick fight. We build ults off of it, and then we come in with ults, right? We try to get ults out of them.
Oh, they have shatter.
Sombra?
Yeah.
There we go. So we're calling we're ult tracking. That's good.
I'm not sure how they're doing on Mail here, to be honest.
They might have it. Main's gonna spawn. Main's a spawn.
Let's beat him.
Oh, we can go left side.
I need heal.
That's really good. Now, again, you guys are calling, like somebody's out of position. and again, this should be coming after you hear that. That's when you're looking for your main tank to say, "Oh, push Mei," or you could even say, "All right, push Mei." And they don't have Mei, right? So you have options there. Now you guys are following the Mei, but this is when whoever your pather is. That's when they have to be thinking of, all right, how are we going to proceed after this? Because now you guys are going coast again. Last time you went coast, you got wiped. But again, at least you guys are following the call as a team. Now, if you push here and then you guys win the fight, awesome. If you get wiped again, that's when you guys are following the call, but that's when the caller, that pather needs to go, okay, well, maybe we go a different way. All right, but at very least, you guys are following that call. So that's really good.
We can walk from here. Walk from here. Go, go, go.
So we're calling a push in, so we're going.
Oh,
Ooh.
Lucio 1. Yo, break that thing. Fuck, man.
An important comm to have when wall comes out, and this is a very specialized comm, but it's a very important one to have.
Side of the wall.
Say like play left side of wall, play right side, something like that.
Yeah.
So that way your team is all on the same side. But you don't see Sims super often. You see them like occasionally on Li Zhong, and that's about it.
Right.
But it's an important comm to have because otherwise you guys get like split between wall.
Oh no, bubble me.
Shielding.
Oh damn, I have ult. Alright, die,
Main in the
die.
back. Main flank.
How did that Lucio live? I hit him twice.
So this fight is over. We should be talking about what we're looking to use here and what they used.
Wow.
No,
they're
that won't.
Lucio.
Alright, we have.
Are we coming up on Grav? Call out whenever Mei uses cryo. And Zarya bubbles.
Let's go main again. Fast right here.
So we're going into this and we haven't set our plan. We were kind of like talking about some stuff, like let me know when Mei has cryo. So that your Doom wants to ult, right? That's what you're looking for. But it's good to actually state that because he has subtly implied that he wants it, right? Because he was like, all right, do we have grab? No, and you saw, your Olden tab, you see that he has slam. So based on what he's talking about and what he's asking about, that he wants to use it. So it's good just to confirm with your team. It's like, all right, let's look to wait out whatever, right? Let's wait for ice block, wait for wall, wait for fade, and then let's follow up with like a slam or something like that, right? Just so that way your team all knows, and because these are all subtle things, and in the heat of the moment, you're worried on so many things you might not even realize why. Right, and so that's why it's good just to like actually fully state that.
I'm charging.
That's wild.
I can touch, maybe?
Lucio, just wait till last second. I'm coming back with ult.
It's fine, it's fine.
I'm getting health back and I'm going back.
Touch again, touch again, touch again, touch
I
again.
got it. I'm out.
Oh, should I switch?
Oh, goodness. I'm getting health back again and I'm going back.
They're so low.
I didn't get it.
Unfortunate. Alright, yeah, Doom wasn't the play. We didn't gen ult fast enough.
They're gonna run this again 100%.
I think against
I don't think it was the
setup sim, maybe we should have went Mercy Farah to spam.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, so yeah.
And that is an option. You guys have a bunch of options, but
What do you guys want
Wanna
on
run
here?
here?
one of the big things though, normally, because like even there, you say we probably should have gone like Mercy Farah, so that's changing the way that the comp works, right? Because obviously that now you guys are playing a lot slower. You're playing for that Farah, but just saying like, oh no, Doom wasn't the pick here. This is a big issue because it's almost putting it at like one player's fault, but it's not the player; it's the play style of the team.
Yeah.
Right, because Doom's job is to be very aggressive and go through barriers. And the thing is with the Mei wall, it makes it easier for him to knock people into a wall. And with Sim wall, Doom goes right through it. So Sim ult does nothing to him. So it's not a hero pick. It's the type of comp, right?
Right.
And so just to say like, oh, Doom wasn't the play here isn't quite right, because you guys have two options there, which is to try to brawl them, or you can try to spam them out, right? But you can't dive because they have sim, so they're going to be really anti-dive because they're a hard brawl comp. So you either have to look to match the brawl or go like a spam. And Doom would obviously be a heavy brawl hero, so you could have run like Doom Reaper, for example, or Doom May.
Right.
So just to say, oh, no, it's not Doom. If Doom isn't building his ult fast enough, it's because of something else, right? Because obviously your Doom player, I mean, if he misses every punch, if he misses every combo, if he doesn't hit a shot in the entire game, then maybe it's the Doom. But outside of that, if he's not generating his ult, it's probably because there's something that's stopping him from doing it. You know, whether it's the playstyle, whether it's because, you know, they have May and Sim, so they have a lot of spam. So, you know, we're not able to push in very well, especially having a Sombra, because Sombra wants to play for hacks, and she's going to have a hard time doing that with so many beams. So now we can't get hack targets, which is making it harder for our Doom to go in. And on top of that, because they have so many beams, you know, they're kind of running down our Rhine, so we can't bubble our Doom in for the slams, stuff like that. So I would say don't fall into the trap of like thinking that it's one player, but it's actually just how the team is able to play with that pick.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they're gonna run this again, but they had like a better spam count than us, so we could.
You think they're gonna run Sim again? I don't know about Sim. I
Sim
think
doesn't
they're
work
gonna-
so well this map, right? It's
I think they're gonna run
What
Reaper.
Map are you guys on? Oh, actually, Sim is totally meta on this map. The meta comp on Control Center, Legion Control Center, it's the Rhine Zarya, you junk Sim, then we do like Moira, Lucio, just because of it, but just because, yeah.
Then we just play point.
I like that,
We
junk
avoid
Sim.
the white room.
Yeah. We're just gonna go.
But so that's a good call. So you guys are saying, okay, we just go main, we avoid white. So that's a good call. So you guys are
Do you want
pathing.
the,
So that's
Reaper?
good.
Or a hit
Yeah. Let's try a Reaper. Might be a bad call, but we'll see.
And so kind of like what you just said, like it might be a bad call, but we'll see, right? And so that's why like you need your team to follow those calls, so that way you as the caller can learn, you know, whether it works or not, and that way you can make those adjustments.
Yeah, we're gonna have to do a lot of kiting against them.
No, son.
Your comms have gotten so much better though, like you personally as well as your team overall. Like especially considering like the first scrim that I watched on you guys, and it was just fucking all over the place.
Yeah.
But now you guys you're starting to get that structure down. And now it's just minor tweaks, right? Figuring out all right, who should be taking this role and why that person is best suited for it, and you know, kind of shaping it up and things like that. But you know, you guys you have you know like a structure to it. It's just about tweaking that structure to optimize it. But it's really kind of cool just to see the progress that you guys have been making.
Camera with the direction makes you do more damage. I bet you didn't know that.
Also, just as another thing, if you do have like a Reaper or a Tracer, have them start on Sim and TP the team out, and then they can swap back to Reaper and then follow it. It's a way of getting out a little faster.
Your hammer in the opposite direction.
Yeah, the harder you shake your mouse, the more damage you do.
It's just try.
Oh, you're right about the jump, right?
Oh, that's a bad call. Speed or Ryan, let's get to a bit of noise. Rotate to their side.
Everyone behind it.
Let's get to the top side.
Lucius hacked? No, we can't touch him. We can't touch him.
Purple.
Reaper's one.
I'm shielding. I'm
For one.
shielding.
So these are all some really good like mid-fight calls, and this is the majority. This is the main block of calls, and this is that like scouting / intel part where everybody is in charge of it, and these are all really, really good. I'm really glad to hear it. Is that there's nothing that's like oversaid. There's nothing undersaid, right? Is you guys are able to, you know, regardless of what you're able to see, you're hearing, you know, blink purple, blink low, blink hacked. You know, somebody is out of position. You know, things like that. Those are some really good like mid calls.
Yeah, with you.
Run.
I bubble.
Yo, Justin, watch out. Zarya's out of position here.
Like there, you know, sorry, out of position.
Lucio 1.
Lucio 1.
Sure.
These are all like from everybody, definitely very good like mid-fight
try.
calls.
You
Just
guys
kite,
might
that's
do
a
it
good
again.
call.
If you guys get a healer, you
I
can
can call the point.
Oh, big anti.
I have Ryan.
Oh, that's actually huge.
Something else that you can always call is you can call like help your Zarya. Instead of like just like taking it, or instead of saying like, oh, I need peels. That's a very common one. Help your Zarya, help your Zen, etc., etc. Because that way it doesn't matter who said it. It just matters, you know, like this person needs help, right?
Hero, yeah.
Exactly. And the reason I'm calling that is because you're half health, but you're super high charge. This is what I like to call. If I'm ever playing Zarya, I'm juiced.
Yeah.
Just because like that's what it feels like. You just fucking beam people down, right? But that's when you might say like, oh, I'm high energy. Help you Zarya, keep your Zarya up. Because right now you're high energy. You're able to get. This is when you're building your graph, right? This shit right here, you're farming their backline and their front line, right? You're beaming, you're just building your ult, and so it's so important for you to stay high energy. But this is the scary part: is you're half. She has more health, and you're both juiced. So this is when it really comes down to like, I gotta play it better because you don't have your bubble yet. You know she just used hers, but this is when you should be calling in help your Zarya. Zarya out of position, help your Zarya. Something like that.
Right.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, I called Zarya on the right. But don't be afraid to like ask for resources from your team too, you know?
Play corner.
Nice.
Oh, that's so massive.
No pain.
Also, this is just a comp thing. When Ryan shatters, that's when you should be building your grav. When you grav, that's when Ryan should be building his shatter. If you have nano, which I don't know if you guys do or not, during shatter, you can always ask for nano from your Ana, because that would totally just fucking build your ult right up. And being 98 energy and nanoed, Zarya does the most damage in the game. Like when she's high energy and she gets like damage boost, she has the highest damage output in the entire game, and it's ridiculous.
Yeah, they nanoed Ryan right as he shattered.
Yeah, the only issue with that is, yeah, he might do more damage, but he's not really gaining anything from the nano, right?
Yeah.
If he's calling
him alive, I didn't see his health.
Maybe. Also, did you guys actually call for the shatter? Because that must be another thing.
I touched it.
Yeah, play corner.
Nice.
Oh, that's so massive. If you guys get a healer, you can.
Alright,
Just kite. You guys might be able to get. If you guys get a healer, you can.
I can follow the point.
Oh, big anti.
I have Ryan.
Oh, that's actually huge. We can win this. We're already back.
We can fall back.
Just
a little
kite them for a little bit. And we'll win
Zarya on
this.
the right.
So right here, instead of spraying, hit tab.
Okay.
I don't know. I mean, you can spray too. I don't know. Okay, but you want to look for these like small breaks in the fight, because now this fight has been going on for a while. You know you're half to ult, and Zarya does not grab very fast, so you should be thinking that some of the other teammates are going to be much closer. They might be 70, 80, or even have ults at this point, right?
Right.
So during this little like breather, you should be hitting tab and seeing what's going on. And actually, if I pull up that the other video real fast, pull this up again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. We'll just do that.
Hopefully I'll do it, but you'll see in a lot of these like medium points, you'll see me like hitting tab just for a second, just to look at what we have, and I just kind of look for any sparkles, right? Because that's why I'll see who has what.
They're chancing high ground. I'm gonna
But obviously this is like during the fight, so
wow. Okay. I'm gonna slam.
let's see what happens afterwards.
Watch over bomb.
Play chance. Kill ball.
Ball is called. Farm ball.
Bolo.
That feels fine. Dude. Soldier, right side. I didn't body block him.
No, this is just over.
Oh my god.
Much better Aiden on the Harmony orb.
Let me back
and
up
Discord.
actually, just a little bit then.
For packs when you want to go.
Ball, their mirror, probably. Ball, Diva, Echo. They have an Echo. They have ball on me, man.
And here you're hearing that's like the scouting. You're hearing the positioning of ball on me main. That's coming from our ball. We called the echo, and that's why like if you saw from me the second he called the echo, I'm like looking up in this space to see if I can see her. But she's not there, and so I don't do anything.
I'm gonna take height.
And here you're hearing these calls of these are the rotation calls, because I say, and even though I'm super quiet in my own body, I say I'm going high here, and then our Zen says I'm taking height as well. So that's what you see.
Ball's low there, man. Zen alone, man.
And right there, you hear like Zen low main. So there you're hearing the call as well as the positioning.
Ball discarded. He's one.
And there you hear like ball discorded, ball 1.
I'm going for 10, 3, 2, 1.
Echo main.
I'm getting out.
I can't see you, Bull.
Mercy half, Mercy 1.
I was
You double packed, Bull.
Who's on point? Mercy down. Huge.
Tracer mid. No re.
I have no packs, just care.
Yeah.
And things like that. You know, I have no packs. Obviously, that's coming from our brig.
They're
But you know,
easily
just
got at
doing like a we call it like resource checking. You know, so like, and you yourself already do that. You know, you're calling like, oh, I don't have bubble. You know, things like that.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't
Can we
count.
get?
Yeah, I got it.
I had to mute. I missed like
Ball,
a
man.
minute.
Oh, okay, no worries. I was just talking about like some of the calls, and actually, here, I'll back up just for a
I
second.
have no packs, just care.
Oh, right there. Tracer mid. No re.
I have no packs, just care.
So right there, that's coming from our brig saying, you know, I have no packs, so care. We call it just doing like resource checking, which is something that you already do, or at least I've heard you do. Where you're just kind of letting your team know what you have and what you don't have, right? So like I've heard you call, you know, like no bubbles care, you know, stuff like that. So that's like resource checking.
Okay.
Oh, we didn't count.
And also you can see here. Oop,
They're D.Va.
that's quick. No re. This is, you know, again after the fight. There's a little breather, and so now I'm hitting tab, so I'm seeing what we have and what we're coming up on, right? So I don't see anything. That's why I don't look very hard, because again, I'm not looking to call ults, but I'm also just trying to see, you know, where we're at, so that way I kind of know what to be expecting. And I'm also looking at them because, you know, one of the other things that we had earlier is they had the echo, and now they don't. Now they're playing with a somber tracer, right? And so, you know, I'm looking for any comp swaps. I'm looking for any, you know, any possible ults. I'm just looking real quick, and then it goes away.
Okay.
Because again, this is coming from a DPS player, right? But this is something that you should be doing more than I'm doing, because you're the one who has to keep track of ults, right?
Yeah.
He's going.
And
When like when I called for like rotate Orion, I think during the mid fight, I was kind of thinking like, in hindsight, like this fight was so long, like if they had a Moira, they almost got like, they could have gotten like 2 calls out of it. You know?
yeah, exactly.
One of those things that I was just like, I should have been paying more attention to that.
Yeah, and I mean, this is something that you'll get better with on time, and I'm not trying to like call you out and be like, you're not doing it. You are. I'm just trying to help you find good opportunities to continue doing it. Because there's been times like with our team, somebody else calls that I have ult before I even call it. Right? Like I'll be like 98, 99, and then I hear, okay, we use Visor the next fight. I'm like, all right, so you know, like that's our you know, like our ult planner, like they're really paying attention to all of our team's ults. And I, as a DPS player, I just look, like I said, just do like quick peeks here and there. But as like the ult planner, you should be doing it more often and really kind of looking. I do like, you know, like I said, quick peeks, but you should be really kind of like looking at it a little more. But that'll come with time.
No, they were on Echo. Yeah. What are we doing, Secret? Can we dive their Zen main?
And actually, right there, you can hear somebody asks, like, you know, like, what are we doing here, right? Like what's our plan? Also, don't mind how we have 3 Dakotas in the call.
I noticed that earlier.
When he walks through, choke.
They're wrapping around.
Yeah, he's going left. Ready? 3, 2, 1.
But yeah, so actually, right there, you can hear what are we doing, and you hear the plan, and you hear the rotation.
Can we dive their Zen main?
Right. So can we dive their Zen main? Right. That was the plan.
When he walks through, choke.
And then you hear the call for rotation.
Yeah, he's going left.
They're wrapping around. He's going left.
3, 2, 1.
Right.
I got nothing.
He's alone in left room right now. I'm cutting him off. Mercy. Pocket Zen.
And right there, you know, you're hearing pocket Zen. Right. So that's actually not even coming from the Zen. That's coming from somebody else. But that's why it doesn't matter who says it. Right. But what you hear is, oh, we need to help our Zen. Right. And you also hear, oh, the Mercy low. Mercy one. I totally thought she was dead, but she fucking picked her.
Mercy down. I'm looking for their Sombra. Sombra's just mini main.
Sombra mini main.
Sombra main.
So you're hearing, you know, these target calls and this info, and again, you see I come up, right? And again, I'm just hitting tab. I'm looking. All right, what do they have? What do we have? Right. So this is when you're looking, you would say, okay, we've got trans, we've got pulls, we've almost got bomb, we're gonna have, you know, slam soon, stuff like that. So you might say, okay, let's look for slam pulse, right? So ball can slam in, D.Va can throw her pulse onto somebody while they're in the air, for an example, right? Because that's something where it's just an ability. And a pulse, so you go, all right, you know, let's look to slam pulse next fight, maybe in look in main or something like that. And that's when your ball is going to be going, all right, you know, slamming now, or in this 3, 2, 1 slamming. And so that way your tracer will sit kind of where our ball is right now, right? He's over here. Tracer might be here with the ball. So ball comes swinging in to slam, tracer, double blink, throw pulse, recall. Right, so this is when you would be looking to make that plan.
Some remain.
Yeah, makes sense.
Popping close trance.
And you,
Okay,
NC,
I'm gonna-
you can hear us making those calls, but so I'm gonna actually just keep that up as like a good reference. I'm gonna pop back
I'm
over
gonna
to here.
touch. I'm gonna touch. I touched it.
Yeah, play corner, play corner.
Yeah, so like while you're kind of like back, and anytime you're tucking back in, feel free to just hit tab like for a second or two and just kind of take peeks, right? And that way you can look for it.
Massive.
Fair enough, aid. Behind.
Reaper's one. Nice.
Reloading.
Big.
Oh, hang on.
Wait. Behind.
Reaper's one. Nice.
Reloading.
Boom. Okay, so this is a good time to hit it and check, right? And so you go, okay, so we just use Shatter. We almost have Grab. We almost have Pull, EMP, and we almost have Blossom, right? So now you should be saying like, all right, play slow for whatever, right? Because we don't quite have any of them yet, but we're close. So this one you just call play slow for ults, right? And then you just name whatever ults you want to use or where you want to use them, right? Maybe you say, all right, let's hold close and build EMP Blossom. We kite back to point and we EMP Blossom and choke, right? That'd be like an example of a solid plan. And then if they go white, then you might hear or call they're rotating left or they're going white, and that's when again you leave it to the people who are using their ults to kind of figure that out.
Circle is fully red.
Holy shit.
Also, why are you guys holding so far back?
I call to push up later, and then we end up backing up. I don't know.
I mean, it's always fine to back up. I've always said it before. It's way easier to walk backwards than it is forwards.
Right.
So when you can walk forwards, it's good to do it. All right.
Alright, we
Alright,
have.
here, I'm coming with you guys.
I'm with Reaper. I'm with Reaper.
Ooh, I'm out.
Oh.
Lamping heals.
Let's try
Alright,
just
backing up a little bit.
I was,
If we need it, we can EMP Blossom.
EMP Blossom, cool.
I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah. You call Grab and then EMP Blossom next fight.
I shattered. I didn't even see that.
Lucio.
Why not?
Lucio,
Why
yeah.
not?
Actually, hang on. I'm gonna back up real fast.
I'm with.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Alright, we
Alright,
have.
here, I'm coming with you guys.
I'm with Reaper. I'm with Reaper.
Destroyed.
Ooh, I'm out.
Oh.
Lamping heals.
Let's try
Alright,
just
backing up a little bit.
fight.
I was,
If we need it, we can EMP Blossom.
Okay, there it is. So let's just grab next fight. If we need it, we can EMP Blossom. Okay. Right? Did I hear that right?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So yeah, no, I like that. So you made the plan and you go if we need it. And then, we probably should have called our Sombra should have said, all right, I'm looking for EMP or I'm EMPing now, right? And so that way that they think that it's needed. So that way you could have said like yeah, or say nothing and then she's gonna execute it, or you could say like no, save,
Right.
something like that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, I got shattered. I didn't even see that.
Yeah, because you guys get shattered, and so we follow up with the EMP, so we can get some kills out of it. So I think that was a good use to have the follow up, but you guys just need to communicate it because you would put that in, right? So yeah, so you said, oh yeah, I know we can EMP if needed. We just need to say or like confirm, I'm looking for EMP here, or I'm going to EMP after shatter or something. Like once you guys get shattered, right? So like I'm going to counter EMP, right, or something, right? Just so it's everybody's on the same path.
Alright, we don't have anything except. Oh, we have a Nano Death
Lucio's
Blossom.
B.
Right.
There you go, Nano Death Blossom, perfect.
Hold close.
Hold it close, I like it. It's good comms.
I wouldn't hug over here. I might play further back. A little further back. Play a little further back. Let me play close because I can get out.
Yeah,
Play that.
Yeah, so these are all good calls. Let me play it close because I can get out, right? And that's coming from your Reaper, right?
Yes.
Okay, and we're calling for that EMP or that Nano Blossom.
Hello.
I think the only thing that we're missing is the real trigger point. We built the gun, we set the plan, right? We built the gun, we've loaded it, but we don't have a trigger, right? So maybe we go EMP Blossom when they push through, or EMP Blossom in choke, or EMP Blossom in hull, or something like that. Just having that trigger point, so that way people can kind of like set up for it,
Speeding out. Oh shit.
I hate it when I get stuck on little shit like that, dude. Yeah, I've gotten stuck on shit like that before, and it's so annoying.
A funny clip real quick.
Yeah, sure. Let's see it.
I found where is it?
Also, what's up, Kami? How's it going?
I found
We're going
Hey,
over.
great. How are you?
I found a
Doing
little
alright.
diva bomb spot that pissed me off. Can you see this?
Yeah.
Nerf this! Nerf this!
It just fucking slides on the roll
Yeah, I
or
was
on the
so
rail,
upset.
bruh. That would be upsetting.
But yeah, things you learn about, right?
All right. Don't worry, dude. The other day I was at scrims. Actually, it was in the scrims that came up in at the very end of after the block. What's that?
The video, yeah.
Yeah. So it was in that scrim block, and we were on fucking Ilios later on, and I went to go rocket jump somewhere a soldier, and I fucking went like right through it, dude. Like I was so confused, and then I was so upset. I was like, God damn it, are you kidding me? Like I don't mean to derail this too much, but just a quick second. All right, hang on. I'm gonna change window. Let's go ahead and head over to here and oops. On Ilios, and that's like the last map, right?
Just the,
Yeah, it's up here. Oh, where is it? I think it's coming up here. Is it? Oh, okay, it's here. All right. So yeah, watch this. All right, so I'm trying to get up to this corner right here, and it went right through the fucking floor, and I was like, "Are you kidding me?" And so like I was like, "All right, gotta set it up." Yeah, I was so pissed.
It's funny.
Yeah. Although
you're gonna be
this...
on the lighthouse map and do the same thing.
Oh, yeah, right. But yeah, no, it went right through the fucking grate. But here you can also see us running the hurricane comp again.
Yeah. I was watching Contenders when they started playing this. I was like, this is so weird. Because then
It is a very weird comp.
They played like Echo into double shield, and that made sense. I was like, yeah, that makes a lot of sense. But the rest of it, I was like, I don't understand.
Yeah, well, so sometimes you'll even swap that soldier for an Echo.
With EMP nanoblock.
Oh, Kame, actually, while I've got you here, what do you have in terms of like comm roles? What do you look for in these fights?
I was randomly alt tracking and then calling for sleep targets, usually, and then maybe asking the person that's low health to peek peek in the right direction so I can heal him.
Okay.
That's pretty much it.
Right on. Yeah, you can always call like for example, right, if your Ryan is like siding you from like with a corner or something, you can call like no LOS on you, run back up or slide left or slide right, things like that. Give me 1 second, sorry. Okay, sorry about that, but yeah, so like calling if people are LOSing you. You can also call your antis and sleeps definitely. And yeah, I like that you're like looking to ult track. You said you were doing it randomly. I would say try to just be more consistent with it. Because it's always hard if it's coming from like a bunch of different people, because then nobody really knows what's kind of going on. And it just makes it easy if it's like a consistent source.
Yeah, I try when I remember.
Chill, just get our Zarya in charge until
no, that's fair, and you'll get better with it. Just kind of as time goes. And your team can hopefully try to help you with it by like normally what I do is I'll just ask what ults are they gonna have, And then that kind of is like a reminder to be like, oh, they're gonna have blah 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 blah.
For an early second tire.
We can push in pretty hard here. I'm going around the outside too.
Let's
Oh,
try to farm an EMP here, so just a dry push.
Okay, right on. So we're calling for a dry push. So that's good.
Sorry, no personal.
Reaper on the left side. Reaper on the left side.
We're calling rotations.
Oh, nice
Dead.
nice hack.
Once you throw your bubble on your Rhine and you see he's still pushing, even though you know it's going to end, you can always call Rhine no bubble. Or have no bubble for your Rhine, something like that, just so that way he can hear it. Because sometimes Rhines, they get so caught up that they're not paying attention to like their health or the resources they're receiving, right? Especially when a nano comes out. So you bubbled him, which it was a good bubble, but he might not noticed that you had bubbled him. He might have, he might not have. But that way, just saying like no bubble for your Rhine is something that's useful for him. Because like later on he pins, and normally you almost always want to try to bubble for a pin, so that way they don't get fucked over, right? But if he doesn't know if you have bubble or not, then it makes it hard.
1 HP.
My bad.
The Reinhardt's 1 HP on the right side. Oh, still
I beat.
Yeah, I'm coming back as well.
Good job on it.
Good. We won this fight.
My bad, Sombra. I did
Joey's
better
gonna
than
have
you.
to try and touch.
Yeah, I'm gonna stall
He
him
fucked
out.
up, he's one.
Yeah, Lucio's coming right side. Lucio's coming right side.
Feel
Burst
free
him.
to
He's
use
1.
speed if you need it. I can't see anything.
Exact.
He's knocked up 1. I'm knocking him out. Reinhardt's 1. Reinhardt dead. Reaper's 1.
That's
Reaper
it.
dead.
Nice. Rolled and smoked.
Right on.
Nice job.
I would say just try and do this little like resource checks here and there when you can.
Who do we want to play?
Just so that way like you can let your team know what you have and what you don't have,
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. Just so that way like and even just you can just say bubbling you Ryan or bubbling you Reaper or something like that, so that way other people can hear it. Because like obviously if you're playing Ren Zarya, your Ryan is gonna have those, normally he's gonna have bubble priority, but then if you hear bubbling you like Reaper or Lucio or Ana or whoever, then he knows, okay, he heard that it wasn't him. And then later on, if you see the Ryan pushing, you can say no bubble, no bubbles, right? Something like that, so that way he can hear that.
Okay.
So just doing those little resource checks are going to be super useful. On the same thing with you, right? You can say like, oh, no sleep, no antes, stuff like that, or you can call, blank slept, or like so and so antied, right? Like rain purple, something like that.
We only have a plan for Hollywood. That's it. I think
We can get that out of the way if you guys want to. So if you
Oh yeah, we can do some other map walkthrough sometime if you guys want to.
Yeah, I'd like that.
Just because, like, I heard you guys say we only have a plan for Hollywood, and I mean, you guys have those other maps that you picked out, so I would say always run down those other maps, and that way you get more comfortable, more familiar on those maps. So that way, when it comes time to make a plan, you guys already know what works pretty well and what doesn't, right?
I think we realistically have plans for Hollywood and Anubis, so at least it's not just one.
Yeah.
But
well, that's good.
I'd be down.
Yeah. Alright, let's do it. Yeah. If you want to continue,
I'm
I
still
have about 30 more minutes before I have to go, but I really only had planned to go through just the Lijiang maps.
Okay.
And we got through those. Because
All
we've
right,
already been at it for an hour and 15.
Oh damn! I didn't even realize the time. Okay, but I mean, yeah, no, I didn't mean to take up all your time, but yeah, no, I'm definitely liking the way the comms are going. I think it's just a matter of kind of refining it a little bit, shaping it up, kind of sticking to those roles, and kind of maybe reallocating some of them just to make it much easier.
Right.
Because like I said, like having your Rhine call the pathing and rotations, and naturally kind of with that he's going to be calling targets makes it a lot easier, because that way you as the off tank, you're able to position and your team can position around it. Having it come from a DPS player, I always say don't let DPS players call targets, because they're going to call whoever they're shooting at, but that might not always be the person who needs to be shot at.
Right.
It's always a joke, but like
I'll just say,
yeah.
if I don't know who to shoot, I'll just be like, I'm shooting Winston right now.
Yeah, no. I mean, yeah, no, and it makes sense, but it's just funny because, like, coming from a DPS player, I always say that DPS players are a little bit like just damaged bots, right?
Yeah.
It's just It's a machine gun and it fires at anything red it sees. So you just have to direct that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's always a joke, and obviously DPS players are also very smart, especially in their own regard of how to best do their job. But I always just joke around like DPS players are they're just mindless machine guns shooting at anything that moves. So it's best to aim it at what you want to die. Because sometimes you'll hear the weirdest shit from DPS players. You'll hear like a fucking Tracer be like, all right, I'm on this bastion here, and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah. Oh, I know. Jorge said one comm the other day that just blew my mind. I was like, what?
Yeah.
We were on Ilios and he was hopping across the we were on, oh god, what is the map? Points by oh, it was the one where you with your rocket jump. That map.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah, Lighthouse.
He walked out of spawn and just calmed. I'm wall climbing the building, jumping across. I was like, what?
Yeah, right. Exactly. like DPS players, right? Don't get I'm not saying that they're stupid because they are smart, especially in their own regard. But sometimes you hear the calls and you're just like, bro, what do you want? I can't tell you how many times I've heard Genji players be like, look at far here. We're on far. I'm on far. I'm like, bro, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I was ahead of him and I stopped and looked back and I was like, what are you? What?
Oh my god, dude, that's funny. But yeah, so we can go and we can call it here.
Cool, thank you.
Definitely. Yeah, and